It was the end of my sophomore year, and my friends and I were in the gym after hours. Our high school had this yearly tradition, an unofficial after-hours lock-in. The teachers and staff didn't seem to care, so we'd sneak into the gym and play basketball or just mess around. This particular night, it was just me, my best friend Rick, and two of our classmates, Sam and Emma. We were sitting on the bleachers after a few rounds of shooting hoops. The lights in the gym were off except for the emergency exit signs glowing red and the moonlight sneaking through the windows. The air was thick with the smell of dust, and we were all a bit uneasy, but we brushed it off. Around 10 p.m., we decided to check out the old locker rooms that were locked during school hours. The doors hadn't been used in ages, and no one really cared about them. I mean, who would? They were practically falling apart. We found the key to the locker room and slipped inside. It smelled like mildew and old sweat. The lockers were all rusted and stained. I wasn't exactly thrilled to be there, but I went along with it. We walked through the hallway, laughing at how creepy it felt, until we got to the very end of the room. There was a door that no one had ever mentioned before. It was hidden behind some lockers and covered in dust, as if no one had touched it in years. Curious, we tried opening it, but it was locked. Rick, being Rick, found a way to jimmy it open. The door creaked and groaned as it swung wide. Inside, a small, pitch-black room. Nothing but a rusty metal chair in the center. There were chains attached to the chair, and on the walls, symbols. Weird symbols, like something out of an old horror movie. Emma joked about it being the school's secret torture chamber, but none of us were laughing anymore. Suddenly, we heard footsteps in the hallway, and the light from the emergency exit sign flickered. Sam immediately bolted for the door, but Rick and I were frozen. The footsteps didn't sound like anyone from our group. They were slow, deliberate, like someone was dragging their feet on the tiles. Rick pulled me by the arm and whispered, "Let's get out of here." As we turned to leave, the door slammed shut behind us. We scrambled, trying to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. The footsteps were getting louder now, echoing throughout the gym. The panic was real. Emma and Sam were screaming, trying to break through the door. Finally, we got it open, but when we ran back into the gym, we saw the hallway light flickering one last time before it went out completely. We bolted out of the school that night, never returning to that gym after hours. It was a quiet Monday when our class got a new substitute. His name was Mr. Rhodes. He was tall, with thin lips and an unsettling way of smiling at us. Most of the time, substitutes are just there to give us busy work, but something about Mr. Rhodes felt different. He didn't start by handing out worksheets like most substitutes. Instead, he walked slowly to the front of the room, his eyes scanning each of us carefully. "Today," he said, his voice calm but a little too smooth, "I want to get to know you all a bit better. We'll play a game." The whole class was quiet. No one knew what to say. A game? In history class? "You'll take turns telling me something about yourself," Mr. Rhodes continued, "but make sure it's something private, something no one else knows. Only then will I really know you." The class fell silent. No one wanted to go first. Finally, Jenny, who was always brave, raised her hand. "I'm allergic to peanuts," she said, her voice shaky. "I've always been afraid to eat anything that could have peanuts in it." "Good," Mr. Rhodes smiled. "Very good." But there was something strange in his eyes, like he was pleased she shared such a secret. One by one, the other students took their turn. Some shared embarrassing stories. Others told deep secrets. It was strange, but we felt oddly compelled to tell him everything, as if Mr. Rhodes was pulling something out of us. When it came to my turn, I was hesitant. I didn't want to reveal anything personal. But Mr. Rhodes gave me that look again. His smile grew wider, and his eyes locked on mine. "Well," he said, waiting. I felt my heart race. I finally blurted out the first thing that came to my mind. "I've always been afraid of the dark," I said, feeling stupid the moment the words left my mouth. "Ah," Mr. Rhodes nodded slowly. "Everyone has their fears." The bell rang, and we all packed up quickly, eager to get out of the strange atmosphere. But as I walked toward the door, I heard Mr. Rhodes's voice again. "Don't forget, class, if you ever need a place to face your fears, room 204 will always be open. I'll be waiting for you." We all paused. No one had ever heard of room 204 before, and the door to the classroom had always been locked. The next day, I couldn't stop thinking about what Mr. Rhodes had said. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing a faint whispering, a voice I couldn't quite understand, coming from the direction of the school. The following week, rumors started circulating. A few kids had gone missing, and no one knew where they were. They had all been in Mr. Rhodes's class the day he'd come to our school. Then, one afternoon, I decided to check it out. I snuck into the school after hours, my curiosity pushing me forward despite the growing dread in my stomach. I found room 204, locked just like before. But when I tried the handle, the door opened with a soft creak. Inside, the lights flickered. The room was empty, except for a strange, faint marking on the floor, like a symbol etched into the wood. And then I heard it. Whispers, like voices calling me. I backed up, my heart pounding. As I turned to leave, I caught a glimpse of something in the shadows, a figure standing in the corner. It was Mr. Rhodes. His smile was no longer calm. It was twisted, as if he knew something I didn't. "You shouldn't have come," he whispered. And before I could run, everything went black. I was 17, about to graduate, when this weird kid transferred into our high school. His name was Eli. He didn't look anything like the rest of us. He had these sunken eyes, pale skin, and just looked out of place. The teachers tried to act like everything was normal, but everyone could tell something was off. He wasn't really in any of my classes, but we had lunch together a couple of times since he sat at the table near mine. He didn't talk much, just stared. It was creepy, honestly. I always caught him glancing at me from across the room, and it made me uncomfortable. One day, I caught him staring at me when I passed by his table. He looked me straight in the eyes, then grinned. But it wasn't a friendly grin. It was the kind of grin that made you feel like you were his next target. I figured it was just my imagination. That is, until one night when I was walking home from the bus stop. I was about halfway down the street when I felt someone following me. I turned around and saw Eli walking slowly behind me, not saying a word. At first, I thought maybe he was just walking in the same direction, but no, he was following me, closer, closer. I picked up my pace. Eli matched it. I started running, and that's when I heard him call out to me. His voice was low, almost like a growl. "You can't hide from me." I didn't stop running until I got to my front door. I slammed it shut and locked it. I looked out the window. There was no sign of Eli. The next day, I overheard some of the older students talking about him. Apparently, Eli had only been at the school for a few weeks before he disappeared completely. There were no records of him. The strange thing? He was never officially enrolled in any class, but somehow he was still there. I still don't know who Eli really was, but every time I walk past that bus stop, I can't help but feel like he's watching me, like he's still out there, waiting.